Good morning, friends. Welcome, everyone. Today we are going to learn how to knit a dishcloth, and that's going to teach us two new stitches. It's going to teach us the decrease of knit two together and the increase of yarn over. And it's using everything we've learned so far, which is your cast on stitch, your knit stitch, and your bind off or cast off stitch. This is a sample of the just knit stitch, stocking knit stitch. Today we're going to make a washcloth, and we're using Lily's Sugar and Cream cotton, and it is a size 4 worsted weight yarn. This calls for a size 7 needle. I use a size 8 or a size 9. I just like how it comes out better. I just think it works better. Use your own judgment. You may want to use a size 8 at first, and if your knitting gauge is too big or too small, you can adjust your needle size from there. And I'm just using the Clover Bamboo straight knitting needles. And you will need a pair of scissors, and when we get done, you'll need a yarn needle to weave in your ends. So we'll go ahead and get started. And we are just going to try to get our yarn going here. Hold on. Sometimes it's, oh, there we go. Sometimes it's a little tough to find the beginning. Here we go. And to start with, we're just going to do our knit cast on like we did before. And we're going to cast on 4 stitches. Two, 3, and 4. Okay. There's our 4 stitches. And the first row is very simple. We're just going to knit 4. Just don't knit it too tight. I seem to be knitting really tight today. 3 and 4. Now you have an option here. See how our tail and our working yarn are together? What I like to do is I knit my tail right in, so then I don't have to weave this in at the end, and it stays better, especially if you're using a washcloth or a project that you don't want it to really show, and it kind of just disappears in there for maybe a row, however long you have your tail. So to begin with, for the washcloth, we're going to knit 2 stitches, and we're going to yarn over, and then we're going to knit 2. And what it does is it's going to create these 2 stitches on the outside, and it's going to create a little hole, and then it's going to create the same on the opposite side. And this is knit in a triangle, or on the diagonal. So we're starting here, and we're knitting like this. And then when we get to the number of stitches that we want, and I believe we're going to do 34 or 36 for this washcloth, and once we get there, then we'll start to learn the decrease, which is the knit 2 together. And we'll be using the yarn over and the knit 2 together at that point. But for this beginning part, we're just going to use the yarn over. So we're going to knit the first stitch, and I'm going to hold both of my yarns together, my tail and my working yarn. And you just knit the first 2 stitches, and then you're going to yarn over. So when you yarn over, you're going to have your working yarn here. You're going to bring it around the back of your needle that you're holding in your right hand, bring it between your 2 needles and back over to the position you were in. And then you just continue knitting your next stitches, and then just knit to the end. And as you can see, mine are doubled, but you will see you now have 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we can just trim this at the end. And then you're going to continue on. Do another row, knit the first 2. Yarn over, knit to the end. And we're going to do it again. Knit 2. Yarn over, knit to the end. And now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 stitches. And you're starting to see we're getting a little bit of a pattern. You'll start to see it as we get more rows on our project. Knit 2, yarn over, knit to the end. Knit 2, yarn over, knit to the end. Make sure you're knitting every stitch, even the yarn over stitch. It might feel a little funny. And there you can see this is the beginning of our pattern, where you'll have an empty space here, and it will create a little edge as we move forward. Okay, and we'll just continue on. Knit 2, yarn over, knit to the end. And when you're reading a pattern, we'll have a video that's going to go into all the abbreviations and how to read a pattern, but if you do read a pattern, it should have a description next to each abbreviation, but it will show a capital Y and a capital O for a yarn over. And the knit 2 together is a K, the number 2, and then small TOG, so knit 2 together. Sometimes you'll have a knit 3 together. I even had one pattern that was a knit 4 together. That was kind of interesting. Came out pretty. Okay. Oops. Just slipped my stitch there. And again, make sure that you are catching the whole piece of yarn and you're not splitting your yarn. So you want to catch the whole piece of yarn. Yarn over. Knit the next stitch. Then knit to the end. And you can see it's starting to show. Let me see if I can get a better view for you here. So you can start to see the pattern where you're seeing a little bit of a lacy pattern on the side, and it gives you an edge. And we've increased our stitches. And we're up to 12. And we're going to keep going. We're going to knit every row. We're going to knit 2, yarn over, knit to the end until we have 34 stitches on our needle. So you'll have 34 stitches. And I'm going to finish that off camera, and I will be back when I have my 34 stitches, and then we'll start the decrease. Okay, so we have reached 34 stitches on our needle, and this is how our pattern looks. And you can see we have an edge, and we have where we did our yarn overs, we have a little bit of a lacy looking pattern with a hole. That's what the yarn over creates, is that little hole. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start our decreases so that we can make the other side of the washcloth. So to do this, we do our knit 1 stitch, and we're going to knit 2 together. So we have our 2 stitches here, and we're going to put our needle in just like this. Slide it through the 2 stitches, just like you would be knitting 1 stitch, you're going to do 2 stitches. And then pull it through and off your needle. And then we're going to yarn over and knit 2 together again. So we're going to knit right through those 2 stitches. And basically we've done 2 decreases and we've done 1 yarn over. So we've done an increase and 2 decreases. And that's going to give us that same lacy looking pattern on the other side as we create the other part of the triangle. And then we're going to knit to the end. And we'll do this a few more times. Once you get going on these, you can make them pretty fast. And they're really nice. You can use them, these little washcloths, in all kinds of things. I've used them to put my coffee mug on to protect my table. I have used them in my kitchen to do my dishes. I have used them, different ones. I'll knit different colors. I knit some to match my bathroom, use them as kind of like a spa cloth or a washcloth in the bathroom. I knit different colors, so I know I have my kitchen ones as one color and my bathroom ones as one color. Okay, so that gives us our decrease. Now we have 33 stitches on our needle. So we'll do the knit 2 together again. So we knit 1. We're going to knit 2 together right through those 2 stitches. You might have to pull a little. Yarn over, knit 2 together again, and be careful that you're not splitting the stitch on the other side. And there you go. And you can see right here, you can see our pattern is continuing, and we're going to knit to the end of that row. These make a great little gift if you knit a few of them, 3 or 4 of them, tie them up in a pretty ribbon, maybe with some pretty scented soaps. You could put those on the vanity in the bathroom. They're a great little hostess gift. And the great thing about them is they're not super expensive to make. You can practice your knitting, you can practice different stitches. And you have something usable at the end. Okay, we'll do our knit 2 together one more time. Now we have 32 stitches. Knit 1, knit 2 together. Whoops. Yarn over, knit 2 together, then you'll knit to the end, and you'll see it kind of forms a bump. This is where you had 34 stitches, and now we're going to start going the other direction. So we'll knit to the end here. There we go. You can see there's the decrease happening. And what you're going to do is you're going to continue on, knit 1, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit to the end. until you have 4 stitches left on your needle. I'll do this off camera and I will come back and we'll finish the washcloth together. Okay, we're down to the last row here. Knit 1, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit to the end. We've got 5 stitches. We're going to do one last row. Whoops, missed it here. Here we go. There we go. You can see our pattern. These are the decreases, but we're still showing the pattern. And this was our increases. And we have 4 stitches left. And now we're just going to knit 1 row. And then we're going to bind off. To bind off, we're just going to knit 1, knit the second one, take the first stitch up over the second and let it drop off, knit another stitch, I have another video on binding off if you want to take a look. Okay, and then I just pull my loop bigger. And then I just cut it off my ball of yarn, pull your tail through, and there we have our washcloth all completed. Then you can just weave in your yarns, put it on a yarn needle, weave it back and forth a couple times and cut it off. I'll do the same. I might tuck that in. I may just cut it right off. And these can go in the washing machine. Sorry about the jiggle of the camera. These can go in the washing machine and the dryer. I wash them all the time. And there we have our first project. You have your garter stitch here, which is knitting. You've done the knit stitch, you've done a yarn over and a knit 2 together and a bind off. Thanks so much for knitting with me today. I hope you have a great day and I'll see you in the next video.